Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And they continue with Disco Elysium, Blind. Now, Kuno might know something about the cryptid, so...
Necromancer pig? That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me.
His eyes are full of admiration.
Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine.
Porta Rosa, a side alley of the Boogie Street Spearhead. A young man in his early 20s approaches patrol officer Emile Mullins and asks for a cigarette. As Officer Mullins reaches in his coat pocket for the pack of Astra he just purchased this morning, the man shoots him point blank in his chest. Breathless, the patrol officer collapses in the gutter. His right hand is grabbing the armor on his chest. The bullet didn't pierce it, but he can't breathe. On the pavement, the patter of the perpetrator's feet growing distant. Bleed, pig. Someone opens a window and says, but Emile cannot see who. His sight grows dim with pain.
So is this like a supposed... Am I thinking of a potential future for him? Like, because this line... Am I implying that he should go get hired by the police? I really don't think he has the demeanor, but you know what's a good line of work for getting shot?
Pigs.
He nods. There's silence. It carries. Huh, so he's considering it, from the sound of it. You wouldn't know about any missing locusts.
No, Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
The little one seems distraught.
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison!
She sounds like she's about to cry, out of disappointment at Kuno's newfound lameness.
What's this about?
Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present.
Lame. That rings some bells. Could this be connected to Night City? AKA the City of Rage.
Is it about Rage City?
Oh god, Kuno, no! It's gonna happen now. They're gonna make you lame.
She takes her hat off.
Stop it, see. No one's gonna make anyone lame. Kuno's got this under control.
Hmm.
The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
So what does missing insects carries? Find out the real reason why the trap was empty. Local kids might know. Local kids. The only other kids are on the other side of the
I'll
street.
die before I squeal, pig.
Hey kid.
What's this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
She puts her finger to her temple.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got done. Talk to me.
Well, actually, I do want to go to the other side because it's already night and the smoking guy, who might have been a witness to the murder, he was supposed to be home at night.
Whoa. What have we here?
A bridge?
A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Kim, it looks like we've got a construction code violation here.
Sure. They never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though.
But Lieutenant, think about the splinters.
The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about. Shall we?
He adjusts his glasses.
Wow. So someone's been a little boring.
What?
Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
Well, I like standards, to be honest. I am not a particularly wild person by nature. In fact, rather the opposite. Like, I am known among my friends and colleagues as a bit of a, stickler for rules, a bit of a stiff. But I kind of take it in strides, that's just who I am. I am not a party animal, that's for sure. I like standards.
Of course you do. Maybe some regulations and a usual pistol to go with them. It's official. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax.
Wait, this will be my copper type now?
Yes, the type of cop you are, sire. Think of it as a caste, a class even, a nation of regular law officials that you belong to. It comes, of course, with the usual benefits.
Well, I am alright with being the standard boring by-the-book cop. Why not? Send the telefax then. I am not ashamed.
Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic.
Okay, I'll unlock another one and put this in there. Regular law official. Look, it looks like you've got a bit of a normal in you, a touch of the regular, 4 grams of Johnny Normal Cop. You, the extremist of all the cops, you said some pretty boring things back there, and now you have 2 choices. You can either leave it behind and forget about it, or you can try to utilize your normalcy, internalize it, get a touch of vanilla back into the herring flavor egg and licorice ice cream of your mind. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from the cigarette.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. It feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight.
We got your hint, found the key right under that stone.
Beautiful.
He replies, smiling. As he looks at you, something sparkles in his eyes.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
Well, that's kind of what I'm aiming for, yes.
Beautiful.
He says again, and nearby a street lamp casts a shadow on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
He nods towards the door 28. By the way, I'm really digging the view here, point to the city skyline.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
Wait. Suddenly you are digging things?
The lieutenant whispers to you, shaking his head. Is it Friday tonight? Feels like Friday. No, I think it's Thursday?
Yeah, it does feel like the end of the week. Such gentle weather.
Why would I want to meet your friend?
Trust me, you do.
Very well, I'll talk to him, but first I want to talk to you. I have many questions.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one.
Besides, I've got to run.
He's going to leave you alone again. That's sad. Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
But I just found you again.
Just look at it. It's a beautiful night. Who's going to stay in on a night like this?
He gestures towards the distant motorways, all leading to Golden La Delta.
A man on high heels stumbles out of a basement club, music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly, and as the chemicals hit his nervous system, 1,000 shivers ripple through his body.
Only if you promise that we'll talk again. it's important.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk. Just not tonight.
The smoker assures you, brushing his hand through his hair.
Take care, alright?
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
He's leaving. Why is he always leaving, Kim?
Who knows, detective? It's a mystery.
There's something different about him that I can't put my finger on.
Different, of course.
Smells good, what? Something so mysterious about the way he talks and moves.
Something so mysterious about the way he talks.
The lieutenant squints his eyes, trying to hold back laughter. Very mysterious. Well, to be honest, I'm just speaking random gibberish that's presented to me as a dialogue option. He didn't strike me as the player as particularly interesting, but clearly my character disagrees.
Very.
He's barely holding it together. It's all he can do to keep from bursting out in laughter.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
A quarterly business magazine. Empty ashtray. Dish soaked in a pot. Flyers for underground parties. An old photo of the same apartment dated year 01. A party dragon's silk robe. I'm not going to steal that. A bucket of paint on a layer of old newspapers. An exquisite canopy bed made of metal. I'm kinda interested in that, but again, not going to steal it. What happened to my items?
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
The man in business casual removes his cufflinks.
His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur-la-Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
No, first ask an innocuous personal question to get the interview off on the right foot.
I assume my suggestion knows what he's talking about, generally. Before we go on, I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy.
Oh yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
He forms a little rooftop with his fingers. Cold air sweeps in from the balcony.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
Have you actually witnessed the lynching?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
Start from the beginning, if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
What do you mean, like in a play?
He's already scribbling down notes.
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Interesting.
How many of them were there?
I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10. Maybe 8?
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were any of them huge? Like 200 kilograms huge?
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell.
Did any of them look like drummers?
Drummers? Why, no. But then, I don't know what a drummer is supposed to look like.
I think we can drop the drummer angle. That was my bad.
What happened next?
I went back inside.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were threatening to kill that poor man.
Were they men, women?
All men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly.
But we are fairly certain the lady driver was present.
Are you sure at least one of them wasn't a woman?
It's possible, officer, but I cannot say for certainty. It was very dark, you must remember.
What ethnicity were they?
I believe they were mostly white, though I believe I saw 2 Areopagites among them. And I am quite certain that one spoke with a Mesk accent.
What happened next?
Well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. It was oddly quiet for a public lynching.
What do you mean nothing happened? They lynched a guy.
Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots, no celebratory shouts, no anything.
Why didn't you call the RCM?
You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do in such circumstances. I was simply in shock.
He wipes his glasses.
I'm afraid I don't have anything else to add.
About what time was all this happening, approximately?
All I can say is that it was late.
So let me get this straight. You didn't actually witness the hanging itself, did you?
No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day.
Well, that's all of my questions. Thanks for your time.
Of course, anything I can do to assist the RCM.
What's an official like you doing in Martinez?
The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight.
What's the price stability?
It is the most important thing.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%.
This is fascinating, but I want to ask about something else.
But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%.
You're not answering my questions at all.
The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet?
Sure.
A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the MoralIntern. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the MoralIntern's commitment to transparency.
I've heard about this MoralIntern before, but I want to know more.
It's the international organization for moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the coalition.
So when I said I was a thrall to foreign interests, what I should have said is that I'm a MoralIntern bitch?
Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious powers to work for than the MoralIntern.
Yeah, probably. I could concede that point at the very least. It seems things are at the very least stable, and, people aren't dying in the millions, which they were during the 2 previous governments. Are you a moralist?
But of course.
But why?
Because moralists believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values.
Lieutenant, are you a moralist?
Me?
You've managed to catch the lieutenant off guard, but only for a moment. He quickly recomposes himself.
I'm a lieutenant of the RCM, dedicated to maintaining law and order in Revachol.
A very moralist answer.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for one's superiors.
But what is the normal, stable world?
The Occident is part of the normal world. Oranje, sur la clé.
Martinez doesn't seem very normal or stable to me.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else.
What about the rest of Revachol? Is it part of the normal world?
Revachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking.
It's like every time I'm talking to people, I'm choosing option D, none of the above. Is that moralism?
Is this option D usually the most reasonable answer?
Well, kinda, because everything else is super extreme. It's like I'm living with a bunch of lunatics.
Sounds like you're a moralist indeed, my friend. Welcome. Moralism is all about compromise and achieving the achievable. It's pragmatic, realistic, and level-headed, an ideology for doers. Are you a doer, my friend? It looks to me like you are. Now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
What is this international community?
La communauté internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution.
And what do I call the coalition?
Your employer, technically speaking. The governing authority of Revachol. The RCM is but one part of this provisional administration.
So you're some kind of a bureaucrat?
Yes, as I said before, I am a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stabilité. This is one of the main projects of the MoralIntern.
He glances at his watch.
Wait, there isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Or maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the MoralIntern is joking or not.
Okay, but what are you doing here in this apartment?
Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here.
Tell me about Sur-la-Clé.
What's there to say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPIS. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes.
Darlings? That can't be an official designation.
What makes Revachol Sur-la-Clé's darling?
Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-la-Clé. Its language, its people, its cuisine even. Or at least in the downtown La Delta area.
Tell me about Oranje. Or Orange, or whatever.
Oranje is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur-la-Clé, Oranje is probably the most prominent member of the international community.
Which one of them is more EPIS?
As founding members, they are both very EPIS. Oranje carries a lot of political weight, while Sur-la-Clé takes care of the business side of things. Sur-la-Clé hosts the headquarters of the major EPIS institutions.
But outside of EPIS, what is Oranje?
Oranje's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced services and generally acts as an engine for sustainable change in the international community.
But that didn't tell you anything about Oranje.
Can't you just talk like a normal person?
About what?
About Oranje, just tell me what it's like there.
Oh, it's very urban and very well organized. Their streets are clean, their horse cars run on time, the people are polite and efficient. Like I said, they are an example for less emerged nations to follow.
Okay, enough business.
Whatever you wish, officer.
Can you tell me about your friend?
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that matters.
You still haven't told me who he is.
Sorry. Who?
Your friend, the smoker. We were just talking about him. He throws a quick glance at his watch.
But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It is a cornerstone of our civilization.
So all you can tell me about him is that he's here to study the arts.
He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes.
As though you weren't envious enough of the boy as is.
Which arts?
He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth like him.
What's Kedra?
Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue.
What do you mean?
That it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since.
What's this EPAS thing you keep talking about?
EPIS is a very special program developed by the MoralIntern to support certain Occidental nations. It began as a unified system of weights and measures, which proved to be a wild success. Nothing but kilograms and centimeters as far as the eye can see.
God, yes. Sweet standardization. The backbone of rationality and commerce.
Yeah, I definitely stand the metric system. The imperial system is pure insanity, and it boggles my mind why anyone would still use it.
It was such a wild success that we expanded it into an economic union for the processing of steel. Another success. And between you and me, the MoralIntern feels emboldened by this success. Emboldened to take EPIS to the next level.
So it's actually kind of like the European Union, because the European Union actually started as the European Community for Steel and Coal, or European Group for Steel and Coal, or whatever. I'm not sure what's the English official name, but essentially it was what he says here, an economic union for the processing of steel and coal, and then it sort of gradually evolved into the EU. But what does it stand for?
Why, it stands for progress and stability, like the MoralIntern as a whole.
Well, but what do the letters stand for?
It's been such a wild, extraordinary success thus far. We are very excited to take it to the next level.
You don't even hear the words I'm saying, do you?
A supranational political alliance. The United States of Occident.
Is it going to be like this place here?
You mean Revachol? No, it's going to have transparent democracy.
Is Revachol going to be part of the EPAS?
It's one day going to be a candidate member of EPIS, sure.
Except that candidate members never become full members, do they?
Didn't you say that candidate members never become real members?
No, candidate members do become members. Why do we even have the whole system in place if they don't? It just takes time. Time and evaluation. But we were talking about my friend here, not politics.
How did you two even become friends?
How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insular Peninsula? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in.
What are you talking about? No one becomes friends that way.
Au contraire. It's how millions of people end up where they are. Meeting the people they meet. It's how I came here, and my friend too.
What are you doing in this apartment by yourself?
I'm just enjoying the view.
Isn't it rude for your friend to leave you alone like that?
We're old friends. Nothing's taboo between us. He comes and goes. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's very active. I'm all ears, officer.
Okay, that's all I need.
A moment. Officer, do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Why can't we talk later?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well.
That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young men's apartments in the middle of the night.
Thanks for the head up, but my work here is done.
Of course. I'm glad I could help.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the other kids on the other side would be asleep at this time, so I will actually go to sleep myself. Okay, good night, Kim. I'll try to fix my sink again.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. Now without the expression. It's just hairy.
I'll put a point into interfacing.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. Now without the expression. It's just... The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place.
Oh well, I guess it's not to be. Okay, I think I'll go to bed.
The bed is still cold from the broken window. And it's not easy, but your bones are so tired from what feel like weeks of work on the case. You have to try. After what feels like hours, you feel you might be sleeping.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street.
Recorded in you forever on ferrotape.
Spinning. Tell me, am I dreaming?
No, you're spinning tapes at the discotheque. The great unceasing disco of the mind. The flash. The bang. The endless learning experience.
Spinning on empty.
On and on it goes. For untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising. Above the dark curvature The great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
What is it?
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
The colors, the voices.
All stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
Agent of the world? What does that even mean? What if I want to be an agent of nothing?
It's too late. You're not made of nothing anymore. You're something now, Harry. I tried to drown you in the black water, but you re-emerged, kicking and screaming, running. And for what?
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
We're making progress. Measured, steady progress.
There he goes again. He's a real political animal, our Harry. He still doesn't see that it's the world changing around him.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Why?
'Cause only love can break your heart.
Feel the pillow under your cheek.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the city. Go. Do it for the wind. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time. Good. You're up. Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
What is it?
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next? Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, things only seem to be getting worse.
Let's get right to it. What needs to be done?
You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité.
I thought I was assigning responsibility for the murder.
Harry, you're thinking about this too narrowly. La responsabilité isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real issues. The human welfare index, the price of staple goods, the transition to real democracy.
What exactly is la responsabilité?
The most awesome, terrible thing. It is human nature to crave la responsabilité and to deny it. That's why it must be distributed across many different organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolios.
All right, give it to me. I'll accept responsibility.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship. You can't simply seize la responsabilité for yourself. It must be given by a legitimate authority, like a committee.
And who should sit on that committee?
Only the most even-keeled minds in Martinaise. Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. And, if necessary, you'll have the wisdom and expertise to assign it among yourselves.
And what happens once we've assigned it?
Most likely, your findings will be collected in a report, which will be carefully reviewed by your superiors. Once they've reviewed it, those same superiors will produce a set of recommendations to be taken up at the next meeting of the Standing Committee. Rest assured, no matter what happens, it will be done through the proper channels.
I am prepared to take on this awesome burden.
Good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
Are you home by any chance?
The door is closed. Still nothing. This door can only be opened with a key or from...
Good morning. Good morning to you too.
Yes?
Kim, we need to talk about responsibility.
I'm glad to hear it, Detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject.
What do you mean?
If you ask me, it's high time for you to set aside these frivolous side tasks and focus 100% of your energies on the case before us.
No, I meant like la responsabilité. You know, the kind that gets assigned.
Why are you pronouncing it like that gentleman from the Institute of Price Stabilité? You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for?
Spread your arms wide for this whole situation.
Now I understand.
He nods gravely.
Next, I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility.
How did you know?
Simple. Because MoralIntern types love to form committees. In any event, I am just a humble law official. I may work under the MoralIntern's umbrella, but I'm certainly not qualified to serve on any committee. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villedroit, the gentleman you met in the young man's apartment. If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking him out. But first you might need to speak with his young companion. Now, was there anything else?
Well, it just so happens that he's here.
Hi, gendarme. Another rendezvous.
There it is again, the smoker on the balcony. He's here in the whirling in rags. Hi.
Hi. So what brings you here?
What are you doing here?
Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer?
I'm going to sing karaoke. I live here. My room is upstairs.
Convenient. But what are you doing here? Talking to me?
Tell me about that muscular type who came to investigate the crime.
Oh yes, let's see. He knocked on my door a few days after the lynching. I think he was going through the entire building, asking questions.
Besides being muscular, did he have any identifying traits?
Oh, let me think. He had an accent. He sounded like one of those mercenaries. He sounded vaguely Oranese. No, not vaguely, scratch that. He sounded definitely Oranese.
Was he alone?
Yes, but he was speaking to someone on his earpiece.
What was he saying?
Just reporting back whatever I was telling him.
What did he look like?
Muscular, handsome, strong, like one of those military types.
What did you tell him?
Nothing. That I didn't see anything.
Did you tell him about your friend?
What friend?
Your Sunday friend, the witness.
No, I don't think it came up.
Thanks for the information.
Sure. Anything else on your mind?
I've met your Sunday friend.
You did? And how did you like him?
He was magically bureaucratic.
I told you, he can be very useful. I guess that's the charm of powerful people.
Who is he?
A visitor from the first world. He's not like you and me, gendarme. He can always return.
He smiles, and the smile seems melancholic. Return where?
To his opportunities in Occident, sur la clé. Still, his coming and going brings some life to the village.
He breathes in and keeps his lung filled for a moment before letting it out.
Or is it just money? I don't know.
Who are you, you two? What are you, you two?
Friends, I told you. Sunday friends. Friends who like to get together from time to time.
What does it mean, a Sunday friend?
That he won't be there when times get tough, I guess.
Is that even a friend?
It is. On Sundays.
To me, it kind of isn't worth it. Like, I kind of go 100%. Why was he staying at your place in the middle of the night?
He has keys. And he likes the view. To the sea, I mean.
He waves gently with his cigarette-holding hand. I want to talk about you.
Hmm? What about me, gendarme?
I need to talk about your Sunday friend again. It's about committee business.
Oh, a committee. How interesting. And if I may ask, gendarme, what is this committee about?
He takes a drag of his cigarette.
He's all bemused skepticism. He doesn't actually care what you want with his friend.
It's about assigning la responsibility.
God, of course it is. My friend is always trying to convince me I need a little more responsibility, as though I don't have enough going on already. In any case, I would love to help. But the thing is, I don't know where he is. We don't talk about everything, you see.
He gently taps the ends of his cigarette with his forefinger.
He might have mentioned something about making a tour of some historical sites up the coast. In an unofficial capacity, of course.
Do you know when he'll be back?
Not a clue. I'm not his agenda keeper, you see.
I guess I'll have to look for him along the coast.
I guess you will.
Composure. I can't up my composure anymore, so I'll just try it. What is it about the way he carries himself?
It's the sports. He's a sports guy, all about that physical prowess and athletic skill. Nothing else here.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
Regular law official. You've done it, Harry. Whatever else you are, you're also boring now. It was not easy. You spent most of your life trying to funk up every nook and cranny of your personality. When someone says something political, the first three thoughts in your head are a ludicrous hodgepodge of communism, fascism, and stock tips. When they ask you why you did something, it's superstardom, apocalypse, or the mea culpas of the flagellant cop monk. It's not easy reaching for the fourth option, the normal one. But you have. And now, you're not just crazy. You're also boring.
All learning caps raised to 3. Inland Empire in shivers. Dull but solid, strong grasp of reality. It's alright, because it actually helps me up my motorics. I'll keep this. Because of that, I can do this. And try again.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched.
What? So there's a lack of magnesium in me?
Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream.
So I need to mag it up?
You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. and the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium.
So you're saying I need to become a magnesium-based life form?
Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium. It will reverse the damage to your circulatory system.
Well, to be honest, that does sound insane. Magnesium-based life form. It is generally understood that human beings are carbon-based organisms, fusing little carbon tubes together to form complex, mushy structures capable of thought, love, and locomotion. It is also known that these structures sometimes like to take the edge off by consuming ethanol, amphetamine, etc. In such cases, it is important to supplement your body with magnesium. Tired? Mag it down. Down? Mag time. Liver time? Maximum mag. Some people say magnesium doesn't really do anything, and you just need to quit. What do we tell them? That they are probably right. I am not going to research that, actually.
Hi again, Gendarme.
Could he be a member of the homosexual underground? Just pointing it out. We're not talking about some kind of cult with members here. You made it up.
What? Okay, I'm far too boring to actually ask that question. It means nothing to me, even if you are. I'm not bringing it up. Let it go.
Hmm? Bye-bye, Gendarme.
Okay, so I'll go sell the tear at the shop here.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and
Are there any checks I can retry here? Cafeteria window, no. Composure legendary. I might try this actually. Backyard wall, which is supposedly somewhere over here as well. That's the blank wall of conceptualization. That's a little too hard for me at the time, I think. Warded door. Novelty dice maker.
there. Working class drunk. You know what this means, right?
Case solved?
Cracked it. All in a good day's work.
Okay, but what did they crack exactly? I don't remember.
What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is.
Oh! Is it that woman's husband?
Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit.
Okay, crap, he's dead.
Didn't she repeatedly tell you her husband isn't missing though? But he is missing. You heard her. The worry in her voice.
I guess this doesn't add up. I'll first talk to the library. Otherwise I think I'm only making a fool out of myself.
Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later.
Yeah, but this is kind of nonsensical.
Not honorable, recruit. Not honorable at all.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you?
What is it about this old soldier that makes him stand so proud?
As Rene turns from you to his partner and back, The medals on his chest rattle and glare. He keeps his spine straight and his ribcage lifted, displaying them proudly.
How many medals are there?
2. The larger one is shaped like a cross, while the smaller medal resembles the sun.
Look at the cross.
A crowned head in front of 2 crossed rifles. The medal hangs from a blue striped triangle. It's the Croix de Bravoure, Cross of Valor. The cross was the highest battlefield decoration in suzerain's armed forces, awarded for exceptional bravery in the line of duty, in service of King Frizzle I.
Look at the sun.
A small blue star inside an orange sun. It has the word Valiance written below. The setting sun was a decoration used to distinguish seasoned combat veterans in service of King Frizzle I during the Revolution.
Cross de Bravoure and the setting sun. Did you get them for...
For bravery.
He interjects.
It's a conflicted topic for the old veteran. There must have been a number of controversial episodes in his service days.
For bravery?
For doing my duty in the heat of battle. For looking my mortality in the eye. When men like Gaston here hid in the bushes and shat themselves.
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front line in his gown of velvet and gold.
Saved a princeling?
It was on the first months of the revolution here in Revachol. Unrest was spreading like wildfire. Marauders had taken most of the Couronne and were getting really ambitious. King Frizzle thought he could end it all in one decisive strike. Sent his cousin, Drisson, to put an end to the unrest. Alas, the young Drisson was all piss and no vinegar, wearing a tunic of purple velvet and cockatiel feathers to battle. Even his rifle was gold-plated, shone from 5 clicks away. Can you imagine the asininity?
Purple velvet tunic. That isn't exactly camo.
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisson marched us against the partisans in Couronne. And when I say marched, I mean made us walk into captured enemy territory, single file, like toy soldiers, while he rode in front on his giant red stallion. The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was carnage.
Must have been a bloodbath.
I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound. But just as I turned over, the prince fell into the mud next to me. He was missing his lower jaw. Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee.
He pats his right thigh.
Hang on to the story. Veterans get sentimental after such retellings. This might yield something useful.
Okay, so what did you do?
I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head. Then everything went black.
Capitaine Arneux, le fléau des chevaux.
The bane of horses.
When I came to, it was all over. It was just me and Jolas Drisson, gurgling in the blood-soaked mud right next to me.
He continues, ignoring his companion.
The dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one.
Well, to be honest, I can't imagine living without my jaw, so there had to be something of a fighter in him if he kept going.
So I grabbed the dink and started crawling. Kept going until the 59th Cavalry picked us up. Through some miracle, we both survived. And the jealous freak convinced Frizzle to give me a medal for not leaving him to die in his own blood. Piece and shit. He was the commanding officer and I was on duty. Just doing my job. Shouldn't hand out medals for that. 13 months later, I received the Sun for distinguished service. It's not worth mentioning.
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than anyone's duty. It's in his spine, in his billowing breasts, and untarnished self-worth.
Sounds like you're being modest, Rene.
The old carabinier stands quietly like a statue, his features motionless,
What Monseigneur Modesty is not telling you is that he crawled over 7 kilometers before the cavalrymen found him and Drizant. 2 days later that was. And that even while crawling with a mangled half-dead prince on his back, he still managed to murder 3 rebels on his way.
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there.
Hold on. You're just a little bit proud of Rene's heroics, aren't you?
Sorry, officer, but you're reading me all wrong. I'm a man of peace, and these kinds of bloody heroics are only impressive to men like Rene himself. Certainly not to me. How did you find the story to be, officer?
Well, it's quite impressive. It's men like Rene who made Revachol great ones. Yeah, to be honest, regardless, the rank and file soldiers didn't have anything to do with the causes of the war or with the war aims. You got to respect his bravery and his determination, regardless of whether you agree with the actual side that he was fighting on, which I certainly do not. He was a monarchist, he still is, and I think that's stupid, but personally, he's, a good soldier, it seems. Quite impressive.
Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. They don't end this out for anyone with a service record. Oh no, you have to get shot. Repeatedly. And you need to get your hands bloody too. Really, really bloody.
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Poltroon. Duty is something you will never understand.
Thank you for the story.
Bah! There were many such stories in those days. Many such men, too. True Revacholians. Men with backbone.
Oh yes, Rene, yes. Men were bigger, girls were prettier, and everyone wore the fascia. Lord, please, bring those days back, if you can.
I'm not getting into this with you again. Officer, was there anything else?
He mumbles through clenched teeth and turns to you.
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. And to be honest, I am not even going to try. Because that would be mostly embellishment or straight up lies. Although, if I really applied myself, I could reach high levels of drama, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I could, but I won't. That seems wrong.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Wait, really? Such a low chance? Yeah, this is a bit of a problem.
Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black one lies neglected on the floor. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Okay, does it make a difference?
This orange machine is dead still. It has...
Yeah, it does, and my chances are still shit.
This orange machine is dead still. It...
Okay, that's a crapshoot, to be honest. But the problem is, I am interested actually in I am interested. I think there was another check for physical instrument. Right? Or maybe it was ice cream maker. Barbell? What? Where is that? Is there a barbell at the bar? No, it's pain threshold for the man from Hiemdal. I am very interested in this quest actually, because that hole in reality, that's some pretty, convoluted shit right there. So I might actually sink some points into this, even though it seems kind of like a waste, because that's not really my forte, and I'm still not going to be all that great at it, even if I do put points into it. So,
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner, and ice squeaks beneath your Kavalzun multi-tool. But your fingers slip away from the tool. The lid shutters tightly as before, and it's already unplugged. There's not much else to do other than wait for it to defrost or bulk up and get stronger.
So wait, if I left it unplugged for longer, would it have defrosted more? Like, is that an actual mechanic? I'm also going to check out the computer.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. The speaker comes to life.
Good morning. Fortress accident. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password.
After life, death.
Good. I've unlocked the production schedule. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament.
Really? She just used the same password? Maybe those radio computer guys aren't that paranoid after all.
He seems almost disappointed to discover that.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. With a quiet determination, the printer starts printing, a piece of paper unfolding like a handheld fan. A black crisscross of letters covers its surface. It's a project report written by the lead producer, Andrew Andy Schott, about Whirl Untethered, a radio game developed by Studio Fortress Accident. The first few pages give an overview of the capital and workforce, while the rest of it seems to be a production schedule.
I read about capital, I want to know about money.
In its short time of existence, Fortress Accident SCA managed to burn through truly insane amounts of money. The first tranche of seed financing brought in 150,000 Ria, but then came the delays. Eventually, the damage reached 400,000 Ria, with only half of the game finished.
Where did they get all of that money?
Let's just say it was a real adventure for their Igaunian investor.
Read about the workforce. Who worked there and for how long?
Fortress Accident employed 18 people. The bulk of the team composed of writers and concept artists. There were also radio programmers, sound engineers, a CEO, 2 marketing experts, and a single overburdened producer who developed a habit of popping Pyrrolidon in the basement to escape his obligations. Why did Fortress Accident have so many concept artists?
Why did a radio game need so many artists?
It didn't.
It didn't need so many concept artists?
No, definitely not. A few more producers could have come in handy though, especially when dealing with writers, some of whom routinely skipped work because of mental health issues and extremely unprofessional sleep schedules. One of them even managed to steal some valuable company property before skipping town for good.
Skim through the production schedule, whatever it is.
The production schedule depicts their glorious descent into bankruptcy.
Because of the concept artists?
Not the concept artists. It wasn't even the writers, with their panic attacks and 3-hour lunches. It was impossible not to fail. The project was too large, and no amount of money could satiate the ever-expanding ambitions of the development team. They tried to make a 4 million real game with 400,000 in their bank account. They thought they could bridge the gap with pure willpower and imagination. They couldn't.
So they were done in by their own ambition.
No. Even then, success remained within an ever-narrowing margin of possibility that, despite everything, never entirely disappeared. That is, until they discovered the Valley of the Heads.
The what?
At the 11th hour, the lead designer, Jimsk-born Sulisław Jalisa, decided that what We're Untethered needed was a secret mystical location at the extreme edge of the map.
It's interesting that the narrator actually did a pretty bang-up job of pronouncing Sulisław, but had problems with Zawisza, which to be honest, I think is easier to explain, because you could write it phonetically to an English speaker by putting a V here and SH in place of the sh, because that's the sound it makes, and it would be pretty seamless.
This place was to be the Valley of the Heads, where the heads of all the headless constructs could be found. The player would have been able to choose a head for their headless party member, and each head would have been voiced on air by a professional actor.
How many heads were there?
So many. The last count, there were approximately 10,000 heads for 10,000 headless men, all of which could be endlessly recombined.
How many combinations could you make of that?
Do you really want to know? There seems to be a calculation here, but it may take a while.
Yeah, how bad could it be? Okay, I guess I crashed it. Uh-oh.
The lieutenant taps his foot impatiently, his arms folded tight against his chest.
What have I done?
What if you broke the radio computer? What if it's never going to stop?
Just let the numbers wash over you. And that's it.
And that's it.
Okay, so that's what did them in?
Well, yeah, that and the catastrophic data loss.
That must be the anomaly Soona mentioned in the church log.
On the nature of the data loss, there's ominously little information in the production log. It comes at the very end, where things get fuzzy and dark, where tables and numbers seem to vanish into an eerie nothingness, before the Igaunian investors pulled the plug. What is clear is that one day, an unidentified numeric anomaly occurred on the East Insulindian lintel front, just as the We're Untethered project was being compiled that day.
And that anomaly caused all data to get lost in the air?
When the project was returned, it was completely blank. The team spent weeks on the phone with Lintel, the service provider, but despite their diagnostics, they could never produce a satisfactory explanation or pay for the loss.
Wasn't there a copy of the game, a backup?
Mysteriously enough, it seems that the off-site copy happened to be on-site when the catastrophic data loss occurred. It was the lead programmer's responsibility to oversee weekly maintenance of the off-site copy and, well, keep it off-site. An explanatory note from the lead programmer has been attached.
What does it say?
S. Luukinen Kilda, the lead programmer of Fortress Accident. The off-site copy was on-site because there was no off-site anymore. Not for me, not after 8 months of crunch. I didn't have a home anymore, so I started keeping it in the basement in the ice bear refrigerator near where I went to sleep. It was perfectly safe there. The temperature conditions were optimal.
That's not very convincing, because it's still the same location. Like, I would imagine the purpose of an off-site copy is not only to keep it off-site because of hacking and all that, but even if simply there was a mechanics failure, like, you know, or some kind of an emergency like a fire, this isn't very convincing, isn't it?
Her former colleagues would agree with you.
Is there anything else from the seed programmer?
The production schedule ends with a few random notes that seem to be added sometime later.
Read the notes at the end.
4 months later, by an unknown author. I am the only one left, and it's gotten rather damp here. A few other businesses have gone under, too. Slipstream switched to making skis, and the hairdressers just left, cursing Martinez. They're right, though. Something's seriously wrong with this place. Martinez, all of it. Still haven't got an answer from Lintern about what happened. All I could get were the physical coordinates of the error on the East Insulindian front on that day. Since the computation happened on air, I reckoned it had to coincide with an actually existing location. I have compared the coordinates to a map of Revachol West. Turns out it's only 800 meters from here. The address is Saint-Brun 1147. I am going there to look this thing in the eye.
Tear off the printout and throw it away.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Casting the framework, the filament slides out of its glowing nest.
You know what? I'll visit the dice maker and try to make the shivers roll. But where are the clothes it used to display? What? I don't know what you mean. Because I can get a significant-ish bonus to shivers if I apply myself.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
I have more questions about the building.
I'm listening.
I have more questions about the intercom.
I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure. What do you want to know?
Apparently nothing.
Sure, Amelie's good. I hope it clarified things a bit.
Okay,
What else?
I'll just try it once, because I don't really want to put points into this, but, you know, maybe I'll be lucky. Why hasn't her business failed?
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here.
Leave it at that.
She has begun to idly clean one of her carving tools with a dirty kerchief. The tool's sharp edge shining in the light of her desk lamp.
Okay. I am, to be honest, much more interested in the other check, because obviously it's kind of needed for the the quest with the black hole in reality, which is, by all accounts, pretty interesting. So I think I'm going to sink some points into this, unfortunately, to see that through.
This orange machine is dead still.
Okay, I'll retry it a couple of times, but next time, because this episode has been long enough. So I'm going to save and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!